and welcome back to the EFL Breakdown. Sorry, no, we have now changed to the ChatShxt Podcast. And today, I'm one half of your host, Izzy, or Ishmael, and my other half, Sam, unfortunately hasn't been able to join us due to him having driving lessons. So I'm wishing him all the best of that.
Good luck with him.
Good luck with him. Hopefully. But today I'm joined by a football pundit, shall we say, on YouTube. A little football.
I like to think so.
Presenter by Darryl Johnson, Dazzers football star on YouTube. Thank you for joining us today, Darryl.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's fine. Thank you very much for having me.
So obviously, since we've got Darryl on today, we're going to be talking a lot about football. I know obviously we're changing from one company to another, but a little backstory to what has happened is because us at the ChatShxt Podcast feel that EFL Breakdown wasn't the most effective route for us to go down, really and truly, because although we all share a passion and love for football, we just felt doing the football content week in, week out, would eventually just bore you guys to death. So we thought, hey, why not bring some comedy into it? Football, comedy, general life, vlogs, bang all into one. Content. Anyways, yeah, how's your day going so far, Darryl?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a slow start, just chill, doing a bit of FIFA and watching darts. That's all I'm doing at the moment.
Fair enough. I saw a bit of the darts last night, actually. Who was playing? Who was playing?
Which game are you thinking of?
But I remember I was watching it at I think it was around 4:40, 5 o'clock. I can't remember who exactly was playing.
It'll have been the last game when Stephen Bunton was playing.
That's it, Bunton. Yes, that's it. Yes. Him. Yes. But,
I was me and my mate call. I was me and my mate call him the English version of Peter Griffin off the Family Guy. Yeah. He does look a bit like him, doesn't he?
He does. I do see it, to be fair. I do see it. But yeah. So obviously, moving on to the main topic for today, football fanatics. Obviously, we're not talking a lot about football, but we're still gonna skim through it because football is life. Everyone knows that. But looking back on the 3-3 draw, Sheffield Wednesday versus Middlesbrough. Now, both of us here are Borough fans. You know, I think it would be very nice to go over that current game and the current form of the team. Now, obviously, the 3-3 draw against Sheffield Wednesday versus Middlesbrough at the Riverside Stadium. Please, can you provide us your thoughts on that? That's all.
Game of two halves, really. First half, thought we were dominant. I know Sheffield Wednesday had the odd opportunity, but I thought defensively they were atrocious. And the goals we scored, no, I think the first goal is well worked. It's a good ball across the face of goal from Azaz and Ben Doak. It's only his second goal, but the two goals he scored have both been tap-ins. Because his first goal, if you remember, was the tap-in against Stoke. And then yesterday, he obviously scored against Sheffield Wednesday, this time with a header from about 2 yards. Couldn't really miss it, really. Couldn't miss it. The second goal's beautiful. And Finn Azaz, I think he's been really good this season. There's a lot of people that are saying that they haven't rated him this season, but yeah, he's had spells where he's been good and then not good, but I think he's starting to get back to himself now. I mean, he was involved in all 3 goals for us. Second goal was a lovely goal, really lovely finish. Just on the edge of the box. You let Finn Azaz have an opportunity on the edge of the box or even inside the box, and it could spell trouble. He just pings it into the bottom corner. I think it does going off the keeper, mind. But the third goal's, bit of a lucky goal. I think that third goal really, it just happened to fall to him, didn't it? And he just stuck a foot on it, went in the top of the net. But no, I think we were good value for the 3-0 lead. And then the second half, I don't know what happened in the second half, but we just didn't turn up. And Sheffield Wednesday, and credit to Sheffield Wednesday, by the way, under Danny Wall, by the way, because he's been on the wall lately. Sorry, he's been really good lately with Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are doing well at the moment. They're in the top 10 now, and they're only, I think, 3 points behind us now. So it was always going to be a difficult game on paper. But when you're 3-0 up at half time, you should be home and dry. You should be winning the game comfortably from there. And the second half, we just totally collapsed. What was it, 3 goals in 16 second half minutes?
Yeah.
We just completely capitulated. And that, by our standards, the goals we conceded as well. Certainly that first goal, no one's tracking Ingleson.
Yeah,
what his name is. No one's tracking him. It's just poor. It's just poor defensively from us again. And that's really been the case all season from us, and that's what's cost us so many points this season. And it cost us against Plymouth, because Plymouth I didn't think we were amazing against. And, and then Sheffield Wednesday, first half good, second half just completely capitulated. And to that, I think it was a surprise that Sheffield Wednesday didn't actually win it in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really went for it. I think they probably should have won it. I think the only chance we had was Isaiah just won him through. And then really, he should have took an extra touch. He tried to hit it on his right foot from like 25 yards. Me personally, I'd have took another touch and then shot. I don't know whether you'd have been the same, but, some players these days, they can just see the headlines before they hit a shot. So they're like, oh, I'm reading the headlines, bang, here we go. And I can't lie, it was one of the tamest shots I'd seen in the game. I can't lie. I've always been a fan of Isaiah Jones. I think Isaiah personally, I think he's struggling at the moment, and I don't know whether it's the fact he's not starting games and maybe lowering his confidence, or whether it's obviously, as you mentioned to me before, that he'd gone to Amsterdam with Latte Lat, whether it's possible transfer moves, maybe wrecking maybe his brain. I don't know. It just seems a bit low in confidence for me, which is a shame, because I like Isaiah, and hopefully gets his confidence back soon. But I think the only way he's going to get his confidence back is if he starts ahead of Ben Doak.
Which is not happening. That's not happening. But no,
Ben Doak and Isaiah Jones are both good players, but Ben Doak is like
Premier League starter.
He is a Premier. He'd probably be good enough in the Premier League, but I don't think he'd be good enough for Liverpool. Because I don't think he. Do you really think he's going to start ahead of Mo Salah? Genuinely, no, doesn't. But I hope Isaiah Jones gets his confidence back, because on his day he is a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen Isaiah go through a very rough stage throughout. Let's say throughout last season, we saw spells of roughness throughout last season, and then beginning of the season, we saw just a full-on collapse. So just seeing the build-up again, and he's actually started to some form of show passion and ability now. He's actually starting to build up a little, not fully, because see the development each game has come up even more. So hopefully it gets to a point where February comes, his confidence is back, and he's balling out again. But that's all we can wish for. But another thing within the Sheffield Wednesday game, the very controversial red card towards the defender, Ralph Vandenberg.
It's soft.
It's
soft, and when initially when I saw it, I didn't think it was I didn't know, to be fair. On the first angle I saw, I was like, does he go into him? Is it cynical? And then when I look at a different angle, he doesn't even catch the player. He's run towards him. He doesn't even catch the player, and their player dives pretty much. So I think it just all depends on the referee and what the referee thinks. But I personally think, after looking at a few different angles, that it was completely the wrong decision. But whether Borough decide to appeal it, I don't know. I don't think we have enough time anyway, because obviously we've got Burnley coming up in like 2 days. No, not even that. I think one day. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know why I'm saying we played Sheffield Wednesday yesterday, because this was 2 days ago. I beg your pardon. I'm forgetting what day it is, mate. Oh, honestly, I want 2024. I've just been all over this year. So I think the sooner this year's gone, the better, and get on to 2025. Obviously, I missed the Burnley game, which is a shame. But I assume he should be back against Hull, and Burnley and Hull. I said to a few people, I said, if we finish, if we get through December unbeaten, I'll snap your hand off, because I knew all along we weren't going to be unbeaten in December.
Absolutely.
And there was people saying, we'll do well this year in December. I was like, right, well, put it this way. Burnley away, I don't expect us to get anywhere. Leeds, I expect us to lose. Millwall, I expected us to get... I did think we were going to get at least a point or win. Plymouth, I knew we weren't going to win away from home, and people didn't believe me. Well, it was right, me. Because I've seen Plymouth firsthand. I know how good Plymouth are at home, and although they're doing cack under Wayne Rooney, that's just their away form. Their home form is actually not that bad. And at home, they do have a good atmosphere at home, I will say.
Absolutely.
For a stadium that only holds 17,000, they do have a good home atmosphere, and they always spur the team on all the time. And I'm not saying our fans don't, our fans do the same, all teams do the same. But there just seems to be something about home park that's making it so difficult for teams to go there and get results. And so far, I think there's only 2 teams this season that have got 3 points off Plymouth away. And that is Stoke and Swansea, I want to say, I think. But they're good at home. It was always going to be a tough game. And there was people online saying, we'll beat these easily 3-0, 4-0. I was like, no. And another reason why is because we never keep clean sheets. I mean, we kept a clean sheet against Millwall, which was brilliant. I was happy about that. But we don't keep many clean sheets. We haven't kept many clean sheets this season. So really, I went for 2-2 because I just thought it was going to be another game where we'd scored and they equalised, and then they'd score and we equalised. And they took the lead 3 times and we pegged them back 3 times. I think a draw was probably a fair result, but my Plymouth mates don't agree. They thought we were lucky to get a point out of it. So, it's all about opinion, I suppose. But for me, I thought we were fortunate to get. I thought we were probably fortunate to get a point out of it. And then obviously Sheffield Wednesday, we should have been winning. I mean, the games on paper against Plymouth away and Sheffield Wednesday, that you would expect Borough to win, but this is Borough we're talking about. And I mean, I don't know how long you've been watching the Borough for, but I think I remember saying this before to you, that I've been going to the games for 13 years on the bounce. My dad's been going for 56 years, and he's turned 60 in February, literally 2 days before we play Watford at home, I think. And the day before Valentine's Day. So he gets presents on the 13th, and then gets a Valentine's Day present off my mum. So it's all right for some, isn't it? But no, my dad's always said the same to me, and I've said the same to a lot of other people. Borough always do well against teams that they're not on paper expected to win against. Like Burnley, for example, away from home. But I thought we played really well at Burnley, and I thought we were unlucky not to get the 3 points there. But when you come up against teams, especially newly promoted teams, the likes of Derby, the likes of Portsmouth, I would say the likes of Plymouth as well. Obviously, given this season, likes of Oxford. Who else did we have problems against before in the past? I'm trying to remember, but there's at least 4 or 5 teams there that on paper we should be winning against, and they're the teams that we don't do that well against. Obviously, the exception of Oxford, who we battered 6-2. That was just a crazy game of football, wasn't it? And you were there as well. It was just a crazy game of football. But the other teams are teams that we just seem to struggle against. And on paper, they're games that we should be winning that we just aren't. Yeah. And I think it's because, and I've fought it quite a lot of times, people will disagree, but we underestimate the teams that we, on paper, should be winning. We come up against them and they surprise us every time. Because we just think it's going to be a walk in the park, so we don't put in a good enough performance. And it's happened for so many years where we've had good records against good teams and then bad records against, no respect to anyone, no respect to the teams, but the bad teams in the league, teams that we should be winning. And it frustrates the crap out of me that, it's frustrating as hell, and you probably feel the same. You come up against teams that on paper you'd be like, yeah, we should win this game. And then we're not getting the job done. And it drives me up the freaking wall, to be truthfully honest. But it has done for years. And any Borough fans who haven't been watching Borough for as many years as we have, you get used to it because it happens all the time. Happens all the time. That's just my word of warning for the Borough fans. You cannot underestimate any teams in this league.
Well, that's some very wise words from a man who's watching the team for 13 years. So, Borough fans, make sure you listen to that. That's a very good words to hear out for. Never underestimate the teams in the Championship. Because to be fair, the Championship is fucking mental.
It's hard.
Mental.
It has been a bit crazy this year. It's been. Yeah. Last year was crazy, didn't it? I think we had one weekend where the entire top 3 right at the end of the season, they all lost.
Yeah.
And then they all pretty much won the next week. But by that time, it was game over because Ipswich and Leicester only needed a win to guarantee the promotion spots.
Yeah.
And then Leeds lost to Southampton, which I wasn't sad about. But the championship's crazy, and it's been like that every season. Absolutely. I think this season's one of the. I think the season's top 6 races one of the hardest to call. We're in there and then out. Watford are climbing up. Sheffield Wednesday now in the top 10. Who'd have thought that at the start of the season? Oxford United are also they're not doing too badly for a newly promoted side. They're at the moment surviving relegation. They were one of the favourites for the drop, along with Portsmouth and Plymouth. Derby County, newly promoted. Another team that I thought were going to be in the relegation zone. They're climbing up. There's teams that are climbing up that you wouldn't expect to be climbing up. And then there's teams that you'd expect to do well, like Luton, who came down from the Premier League. You'd think Luton would do well. And they're having a diabolical season.
They're 19th.
It's such an unpredictable league, and every season's different.
Absolutely. I mean, I've only watched the Championship for 5 years, but I've watched it long enough to see that this league is quite. It does you head in most of the time. It does you head in a lot. I have to be honest with you, but talking about Luton, actually, I was going to move on to that. Luton's form currently has not been the best. I mean, We've seen them lose 2-0 to Blackburn Rovers at Ewood Park, following up with a 1-0 loss at Ashton Gate against Bristol City. Now, the question is, as has been looming around Luton fans, I have quite a few Luton fans that I know, Rob Edwards in or out?
I mean, personally, there's a Luton fan I know on Instagram who likes Rob Edwards, but just doesn't think he's going to be the right man. and I sort of agree with him. I don't think Rob Edwards isn't doing well, and the thing with managerial jobs is it's mainly all. Sometimes it's not all based around performances. It's a lot of the times when you're managing these days, it's a result business. If you're not getting the results, and you're going to go. And it also depends on what goes on behind the scenes. Now, I know that Luton like Rob Edwards. I know Rob Edwards is liked at Luton, but I don't think he's got long left. The way things are going, he's going to be gone. I think he'll be gone during the January window. Personally, Luton have really underperformed, and they're a team that you look on paper and you're thinking, right, well, they've just come from Premier League, and you look at the team they have some really good players in that team, and you're like, they're going to be a difficult team to beat. At the minute, it's an easy 3 points. At the moment, I've got to say, I've watched, and obviously at the time I was still recovering from me spine op, which I will say went very well, by the way, and I fully recovered well. I was supposed to recover after like 8 or 9 weeks. I was almost fully recovered after 5. So I recovered very quickly. No. What was I going to say now? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So during me recovery, I did watch, obviously, when we played against Luton at home. And I remember saying to a few people, this is the worst defence I've seen in a long time. They were so poor defensively.
They were terrible.
And some of the goals that we were scoring, obviously good goals for us to score, but for Luton, some terrible goals to concede.
Oh yeah.
And I mean the fourth goal was literally pretty much a 2-on-1 against the keeper. You can't allow fast players like Latte Laff, Delano Bergson, who's quick on his feet, and Ben Doak, and other players like that. You can't allow our quick players to just get in behind and go through 1-on-1, because it can spell big trouble. And against Luton, they let us in behind on quite a few occasions, and they got punished. We played really well, and they were defensively one of the worst teams I'd seen in quite a while. So, and I said after they lost 5-1 to us, and obviously we had the international break coming up soon as well, I was thinking to myself, if Rob Edwards doesn't get sacked, I'll be very surprised. How he's got to the end of December, I'm rather surprised, because I don't think he's been particularly great. Obviously, I'm not a Luton fan myself, so I can't really say fully, because obviously there'll probably be Luton fans saying, well, he may not have been backed by the board, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Could be something going on behind the scenes, or what, we don't know. But personally, I think Rob Edwards goes during the January transfer window. Yeah. And I think the January transfer window is probably the best time if you're going to sack a manager, either the international break or during the window, because then you can get a new manager in and get new players in.
Yeah.
And then it gives them the full transfer window. Certainly transfer window. Gives them the full transfer window to get more players in and decide who he wants and who he doesn't want and everything. So the transfer window is going to be a big transfer window for a lot of clubs, especially Luton.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen? Well, it's a question that still needs to be answered. We don't know what's going to happen at the start of 2025.
And big point, relaying off your point of the transfer window, obviously, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and Leeds, was it? Yeah, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and Leeds are currently the 3 front runners for Louis Barry from Aston Villa to be alone for the second half of the season. Who do you think should captain?
Well,
I have no clue to be honest with you.
I would genuinely, love Louis Barry to come to Borough, because I've watched him in League. I've watched him in League One. I think personally he's too good for League One. He's Stockport. by a country mile, he's one of the league's best players and certainly the best player for Stockport. And he's constantly scoring all the time. And I think he'd be really good at Bother. However, I have a feeling that he will go to... I have a feeling he might go to Leeds just because of... Possibly because of money.
Yeah, true.
Because a lot of the times these days, and we've said before, money talks.
Money talks a
You know,
lot.
you have a big club like Leeds, you know, European and Premier League champions back in the day. You got a big club like Leeds coming in, and your club's also looking for them, and you're like, I think there's a fat chance of us getting him, but if we get him, I will be more than happy with it. Do I see it? Probably not. It's probably not, but
I mean,
you never know. Let's hope we do.
If he does come in, I don't know where he'd play because Bergzorg has been doing pretty well this season on the left-hand side. And then we've got Ryan McGreen as well. Then on the right side, Ben Derrick's obviously on loan. Then we've got Isaiah. Then we've got Falls when he comes off an injury. And then in the cam position, we've got Azaz. McGree can also play there. Striker position, we've got Latilaf Conway. If Latilaf doesn't go, obviously. I don't know exactly where he would play. And I feel for the club, on the attack, we have one of the best attacks in the league. I will hands up say it. Middlesbrough FC have one of the best attacks.
I think we've actually scored the most in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, we did at one point. Whether we still do now, I don't know.
But defensively is where we struggle the most. I feel instead of investing in our attack, leave our attack alone, bring in a left back, bring in
invest in the defense of it.
We need.
I think the defense is what's. It's the defense. That's causing the issues, really.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that our defense is that bad on, because on paper we've got so many good players. You got Matt Clark, Premier League player. You got Rad van den Berg, who I know has come from Holland, but he's been one of Bo's best defenders. He was certainly our best player last season. You got Isaiah who can play in wing back role and also play as a right mid or right back. He can play in a few different positions. You got Neto Borges. I think he's struggled a little bit. I think obviously switching the league and obviously the Championship's one of the most physical leagues in probably world football. I think he's having a bit of a hard time at the moment. Fingers crossed, obviously, the things get better for him. But, we got Lucas Engel as well. He's been playing for both for quite a long time. We do have some good players there, but when it comes to actually on the field, we're not performing as well as we should do. Now, is that down to the players or is that down to Johnny?
A lot of people are saying...
Because I've said before, as much as I like Jonathan Woodgate, I don't think he's a good enough defensive coach. But at the same time, there's some players that we have in the defence that a lot of the times have stinkers. Edmondson, I think a lot of people disagree with this, but I think Edmondson's been probably one of our better centre-halves.
I know he has. I have to agree with that. I mean, the presence he brings when he comes onto the field. I mean, if you look at his performances against teams in the first half of the season, he was quite solid. Watford away, although we lost, he was defensively solid. He won his duels. He scored the goal. I mean, a lot of people are saying Edmondson isn't the best. But I'm saying Edmondson is one of our better defenders that we currently have. And if we can bring one on a permanent, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Who would you say? I mean, your opinion, obviously. Who would you say is probably Bora's best defender?
Bora's best defender. I'd probably have to go with... For me...
I think I know what you're going to say.
Please, no one criticize me on this. People are going to target me for this. People will be like, are you crazy? What? But for me, I feel our best defender, this is including fullbacks, obviously, Anthony Dijkstal.
I think Anthony Dijkstal's been good this season. We've seen better. We've seen better from Anthony this season. In the past he's had some good performances. And this season I think this season he has been really good. Him and Edmondson for me are probably Bora's two best defenders. You can
Yeah.
also add Rad van den Berg into the conversation as well. Obviously on Sunday it's going to be interesting because obviously we haven't got Rad van den Berg. So I think this is what I would love Dijksteel. I'd like Dijksteel to start and score against Burnley again. He caused problems. By the way, against Leeds in the Cup and against Burnley. Against Burnley, I mean, he hadn't even been given man of the match by Sky Sports at the time. But when I was streaming, and I don't know if you watched the stream at the time, when I did Burnley beat Borough, it was when my dad was doing Panto, so he wasn't with me when I was on my own. When I was watching the Burnley Borough game, I said about 80 minutes in, I said, if there's anyone who's getting man of the match, it's Anthony Dijksteel, because he was magnificent. He was absolutely magnificent against Burnley away. Defensively, he was solid. Going forward, he was actually a threat.
He was
and his pace was causing problems as well. And he was good. He was making inverted hand overlapping ones as well. Burnley was struggling to contain him, and he gave them a really difficult time. On his day, he can be a magnificent player going forward and defensively. We just need to see that more consistently from him.
Fully agreed, yeah. I do agree with that. And obviously talking about our defence, looking at our left back position, do you feel a lot of people are saying Neto Borges, Brazilian, fuck off, he's wank, this, that, Borges out, left back. Do you feel I feel we give Neto Borges a chance because he's not the fastest, but he is a defender who needs to adapt to his league. But do you feel he needs to be replaced already?
I think if he doesn't start putting in better performances, then yes. Do I see us getting a left back in the January window in his place? No. I think he'll carry on being our left back till the end of the season, which will go down badly with Borough fans, but you know, I mean, I'm not the one in charge. Obviously, I can't make that decision. You know, I would like Neto to carry on and trying to get his confidence up. I think he's just a bit low on confidence, and you know, and I think it's also the coming into a new league that he didn't know much about, new club, different surroundings. I don't think he's fitted in. I don't think he's coped. I don't think he's coped very well lately. So fingers crossed. Things change and we see the best of him in the next couple of games, really.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he did get a lot of slate. I do see why he did get a lot of slate because he hasn't really been top half.
He's not been great lately.
I think give him time to end the season, let him adjust to the league a bit more. I think by February, if we don't start seeing improvements, then something needs to be sorted out. I'd play Ailing on the left.
But the thing is, we tend to focus more on the midfield and attack rather than the defence and the windows, and it's not what we need. I think we've got a good enough attack. We've got a good enough attack. Yeah, maybe get an extra midfielder. I can't lie. I don't rate Finazaz and Dan Barlaser on set pieces. I know we've scored from the odd one, but I don't think we need to be a bit more consistent on set pieces. So I wouldn't mind a set piece specialist, but I would also look at changing up to defence a bit as well.
Yeah, and talking about outfield positions, in goal, in our net.
We won't go for another keepers. We've got 3 keepers. Two now because Solbrin, we thought had dislocated his shoulder. I don't know exactly what the actual injury is. That's what it's suspected as a dislocated shoulder. If that's the case, he's out for a while. Which is a shame. I think Sol's been. I don't think Sol's been a bad keeper at all. I think he's been decent. Senny's a decent keeper, but does make quite a lot of mistakes, and that's a bit of an issue. And Tom Glover. I completely forgot we still had Tom Glover personally.
I
Because I hadn't seen him for that long. I was like, I forgot we still had him. That was nice to see him back on the field, but yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with regards to keeper. Really, I think we'll probably just stick with Dieng and Glover personally until obviously Solbring comes back.
I mean, I feel we need to. I feel we should get rid of Glover, get some cash for him, or put him in a swap deal and bring in a better keeper, such as Luton's Kaminsky. Because although Luton's not the best, Kaminsky has been holding them up from being in the bottom three. I can tell you that from right now. From the performances that I've seen from Luton, yeah, Kaminsky is a solid keeper. Putting Glover or putting Dieng in the swap deal for Kaminsky and cash, promise you, he will shoot us up. He's a solid keeper.
You know, and I don't disagree with that whatsoever. Because don't get me wrong, Thomas Kaminsky is a good goalkeeper, but he hasn't been. I don't think he's been outstanding this season. He's made the odd good save. Yeah, he's made some good saves even then. He's had some okay performances. We need a keeper that's going to be able to do it consistently. And I mean, Luton's defence is appalling, you know. Yeah. And I think a lot of the reasons why they've conceded goals hasn't been obviously down to him, been mainly down to the defence. My dad always says a goalkeeper is only as good as his defence.
Yeah.
So if we can have a solid defence and a solid keeper, then we'll be fine. But if you have a solid keeper, but then you have a weak defence, then what do you expect? What are you expecting the keeper to do?
Very true.
And some of the goals we conceded this season, a lot of people have criticised the keeper for it. I mean, I've been one of them. But not all the time. A lot of the time, the keeper gets majority of the stick for some of the goals conceded. But sometimes it's down to the defence.
Yeah.
If our defence can be good and the keeper can be good, then we'll shoot up the league. But if we just continue to be poor defensively, then it doesn't matter what keeper you have. You could have you could have Prime Buffon in goal with Bo's defensive, we'd still concede.
Yeah, it is very true. It's very true.
You know, you could have some really good goalkeepers, but if you don't have a good enough defence, then it's not going to make a matter of difference.
I think as a whole, Carrick needs to buck up his ideas and just stop investing in our attack and invest in the back. Because
he wants us to be a team that's. I think he wants us to be a team that's going to be good going forward. But you need to be good going forward, but you also need to be good defensively. Exactly. And you got teams like Leeds at the minute. Teams like Leeds, teams like, dare I say, Sunderland, very good going forward, but are also not bad defensively. With us, we've got a good attack but a weak defence. And it's the same with a lot of teams. A lot of teams have some good attacks but weak defences. We're one of them, personally.
And actually, talking about Sunderland, the Mackhams, the Black Cats, there's been reports going around. I was on Facebook 2-3 days ago. And for some reason, Sunderland page came up on my Facebook. Why? I don't know. I don't follow them. I don't look at them. But for some reason, it came up. But it said something about Sunderland putting in a transfer permanent bid for Lou Barry, putting in Dan Ballard and money in for Lou Barry. Now, I don't know if it's true.
I think that might get him, to be fair, because I think that Dan Ballard, would be really good at Stockport. And I think Louis Barry would also be good at Sunderland. Then again, I think he'd be good at any club in the Championship.
I mean, if that does happen, man.
I have a feeling that it also depends on what we actually bid. It depends what we bid as well. It's all down to the club's bids. But I think if Stockport know that they're going to get a player, a good player, Dan Ballard is a good player. He's a really good centre-back. I think if Stockport know that they're going to get a good player in return, along with money, then they're going to go along with that.
Yeah.
you know.
We wouldn't like to see it happen, but if it does, it does. We'll have to move on. But yeah,
Yep, I dwell on it.
literally, because the more you dwell on it, the more it will just pierce your heart. But yeah, that's enough of bar talk because you don't want to bore these fans of talk about Middlesbrough. Moving on to a bit of the Premier League. Obviously, we saw Arsenal scrape a 1-0 lead against which last night, barely beat them. Then we saw Fulham actually beat Chelsea, goodness how 2-1 win. Former Barcelona Rodrigo Muniz scored in the 95th minute, which broke my heart.
Well, Rodrigo has actually been good for Fulham since he went back to them from us. He's been good for them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that didn't do that well for us and have actually done well since leaving us. Rodgers, prime example. Morgan Rodgers is a prime example.
What a baller.
Obviously, Rodrigo Muniz.
Balogun as well.
I still can't believe Fulham beat Chelsea last minute. It was quite a surprise because I thought Chelsea were going to dominate Fulham. But it just shows Fulham are no mugs. Fulham are actually a good team this season, and they've got a good manager. You know, they've got a good team. They've got a good manager. They are going to be battling for, I think, top 10. I think they'll be battling for top 10 spots this season.
Oh, definitely.
They'll certainly finish higher than United will. That's for certain. It's been a disastrous season for United. God, it's been all over the shop. I'll tell you one team that's also doing bad that I wasn't expecting is Man City. 1 win out of 12.
The downfall for Man City has been absolutely mental.
It's been brilliant to watch, I will say, but not if you're a Man City fan. It's probably been a disaster season for them. But no, I don't understand it. When you look at Man City's team and you look at Pep Guardiola, you look at that team from last season, you're like, this is a team that's just probably going to boss the Premier League for quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
And they were doing all right, and then just all of a sudden, these last 12, 13 games, nothing's happened. Nothing's gone right for them. And I mean, they're even struggling in Champions League. If they lose to PSG, if they lose to PSG, they don't win the next 2 games in the Champions League, they could be out of it.
Wow.
Them and PSG are both not far from each other in the table. Ow. In the table, kicked me, whacked me ill on the table. Ow. You know that broken table you got on there. That's right. Now the Man City downfall is it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't think United were going to get anything against Man City at the Etihad, and we went 1-0 down, and I was like, here we go. Here we go. They'd been coming all game. In the second half, got a penalty. No one could have any complaints. It was blatant, personally. And, well, I would say that, but it was a blatant penalty. And then Amad Diallo, just straight after the kickoff, latches onto a long ball from Lisandro Martinez, of all people, and takes around the keeper and scores. And I was gobsmacked.
That was happening.
I think everyone was gobsmacked. I think a lot of people were happy, but I think a lot of people were gobsmacked about it, just because of how bad Man City did in that second half. They just absolutely crumbled, just completely capitulated. I mean, that was United's first win in quite a while. Do that and then they lose to bloody Spurs away, don't they? That was a crazy match, I must say. But there's been some good games this season in the Premier League and in the Cup and in the Championship. There's been good games in all the leagues this season. I think it's been probably one of the most unpredictable, one of the most entertaining Premier League and EFL seasons that I've seen in quite a while. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the second half of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, Premier League for the second half season will be very fun. I mean, we see Enzo Maresca's Chelsea obviously was in second, now in third. Well, with Maresca,
they gone down to third now?
Yeah, Arsenal beat
because
Ipswich.
of Arsenal.
And then we see Maresca claiming the title race, which we shall say humble. And we've seen Arne Slot's Liverpool absolutely running through the league like butter. We've seen Arsenal picking up some form. We've seen Nottingham Forest out of all teams in the European spot.
Top four now they are.
I mean,
they're doing amazing. Nuno's done outstanding for them. It's amazing.
He's doing an amazing job with them.
Didn't expect it at the start though.
You see all the we just see the whole top 10 just like confusing as hell, because we see
there's teams up there that you don't expect, and then there's teams that you expect to be high up there are doing poor. I mean, City, I think, are outside of Europe.
Yeah, they are.
Didn't expect that. 7. Didn't expect United to be, what, 13th, 14th?
It's crazy. Bro.
Brentford, I mean, Brighton and Brentford, I don't think they're doing outstanding. Bournemouth are doing really well.
Oh,
I think it could be. We could have some very interesting teams in Europe this season. Not the Forest in Europe. I don't think they've been in the European tournament since they won it. Since I think they won the Champions League in I don't even know what year it was, but it was something like the mid-80s when they won it.
Mental, absolutely crazy. But I mean, this Premier League season was very fun to watch, especially as a Chelsea fan. It's amazing. But anyways,
painful for all of us at the minute, but there you go.
But yeah, coming to the end of today's episode. Obviously, it's the first episode of the ChatShxt Podcast. It's very football based,
and we didn't chat shit today.
No, but we'll be next episode. Don't you worry. But and it's bringing a lot of flashbacks back from the EFL breakdown. But we felt, two amazing football fans here. We might as well do a football episode for our first season, the first episode. But yeah, it's been lovely to have you.
You've got to try things. You have to try things, and if they don't work, they don't work. Exactly. I'm making changes to my channel in 2025. Not changing the actual channel or anything, but I'm sort of taking away the United and buying streams because they're not getting a lot of interactions at the minute. Probably because of the amount of people that do the things. Can't do the Bo vlogs now because Bo screwed me over. And then, so there's going to be quite a lot of neutral and non-league vlogs next season. It's going to be interesting. But it'll be just mainly Bo streams and the odd neutral stream. So it's going to be a strange year, but a few people have said to me it's pretty much make or break now for the channel. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, so be it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've done it for 8 years, so I've had a good one so far. Had a good one so far, but
well, that's good.
Yeah.
But, everyone, I'll leave Dazzers YouTube information, Instagram, socials all down below, so you can check them out on Facebook, Instagram,
and the TikTok.
And the TikTok, which I need to actually get from you because I don't have that.
Have you not looked at it? I put quite a few goal reactions on there and have done well. The Diallo one for the Man City game, over 5k on that.
Decent.
So I do upload the odd things. I'm watching the data in a minute. It's gone to tiebreak.
Oh, lovely.
So going to be a tasty ending to this.
I'll leave Dazzers information all down below. And one last announcement before we go. On the 27th or the 28th of February 2025, I'll confirm the date in January once we get confirmation from the college.
Yes.
At Middlesbrough College, there will be the annual Jake Johnson Spring Charity Match 2025 being held at Middlesbrough College. It will be either 27th or the 28th of February 2025. It will be 12 p.m. gates open, and I think a 12:30.
I'll probably head to the Tive away. I don't know what day is it. What day is the 27th and 28th?
It'll be either Thursday or Friday, I think. It'll be during the half term.
I hope it's
Monday or Tuesday.
27th, 28th.
Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday, apparently.
On Monday or Tuesday?
Sunday.
I thought Thursday or Friday. Okay, Monday or Tuesday.
Ooh. I'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, I should be able to do it. We'll see what happens.
What, the 27th of January or February?
Feb.
Oh, yeah, it's Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday. So she was looking at the wrong month. Looking at January.
Oh, but yeah, so it'll be 12 p.m. gates open, either 12:30, 12:45 kickoff. I'll have to confirm with Jake Johnson himself, but it'll be at Middlesbrough College.
Hopefully, I can get to it. Hopefully, I can get to it.
I'd love to see you
See
down
what
there,
happens.
but adult tickets are £3, under 18s are £1, cheap as chips. In fact, cheaper than chips. Let's say that. And then
These days, yes, it is. Get chips
So-
from a chippy, and it's about get chips from a chippy. £3.40, please.
yeah, ridiculous. It's disgusting.
Trying to think how much it is down in London. Because I know London, you get charged £1 every time you take a breath. It is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, the prices in London's ridiculous.
But we held Middlesbrough College, Astro Pictures. We'll be having ultra groups down there providing the atmosphere. We'll have halftime shows, end of the game shows. We're gonna bring it all out. All right, and we have 450 tickets for sale. So
I don't see there being 450, mind. Because
oh no, I don't see there being 100, but bring everyone that you can. Bring your nan, bring your dad, bring your mum, bring your sister, bring your uncle, bring your brother, bring your child, bring whoever. All right, and I think under 12s will go free, or under 10s, one of the two. I'll
that's
confirm
fine for me.
I'll confirm it.
I'm 22 with a brain of a 12-year-old, me. So
But yeah. So
Should be
I just
good.
want to say thank you all for joining today's episode. Obviously, season 1, episode 1 of the ChatShxt Podcast. It's been very nice to have Dazzler on today. Thank you very much for joining us, Darryl, and we shall see the best of your channel within 2025. And I want to
cheers.
thank you, and I want to wish you all a merry belated Christmas and a happy New Year going to 2025. I hope you get all that you want in 2025, all your dreams come true, all your prosperities come true, and that you just have an amazing year as a whole. Never be negative, always stay positive, stay happy, stay smiling, stay healthy. That will lead to a happy life, happy wife. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next one.